I assisted Christopher Alden a couple of years ago when the production was first done, and the assistant director's job is to try and understand as much as possible, not just the moves, but the intention behind the production. And essentially what you want to do is put as much of a carbon copy on stage as you can, but then fill it with a bit of new life. I think you can be free with the production as long as you keep completely within the spirit of the production. And obviously a new energy and a new singer and a new physicality is going to make things completely different. So we have Victoria Lambourne singing Rosmira this season, and she's quite different from Jackie Dark. And so it naturally becomes different. And you have to allow that to happen. And I suppose that's my job, is to facilitate this, to do a recreation of the show just as it was intended, but to facilitate new things so that it feels alive, it feels like a new show. And to be honest, the Handel stories, we would think of them as extraordinarily simplistic. And so you need a very creative director to try and interpret it so that it doesn't seem foursquare and plotty. And Christopher Alden's the perfect person. I mean, he has this mad inventiveness. And he's updated it to, well, not quite contemporary, but around the period of the Great Gatsby, in fact, the Belle Epoque. And the idea is that we're in a grand house of someone like Coco Chanel, these sort of literati, intellectual people, the set of people who are trying to change the arts, and they're playing out a kind of fantasy of being princes and kings and queens, and they're playing out their own relationships, but through the characters of Prince Arsace, Prince Eurymene, and Partenope herself. And so it's sort of like a tale within a tale, and there are many dense layers of meaning, which is fantastic for the time in which it's set, when the whole of the art world was just exploding and changing so completely in its attempt to search for new meanings and change the semantic quality of art. And so it sort of fits really well in that time, that there's a double remove of meaning, and it becomes a puzzle for the audience to try and work out what it's all about. And I think that the joyful thing is essentially it doesn't matter if it means anything. It doesn't have to, which is, as it were, the philosophy of that time. When we were talking about the absurdists and the Dadaists and things like that, they were just sort of destroying the idea of art as representation. It was just spontaneous expression. So you could just do anything and see what the utterance feels like. Philosophically, I suppose that's the idea. So you can come along and see the show, and you don't have to worry about meanings. You can find them if you want, but you can just be entertained, and it's very, very entertaining. It's funny from beginning to end, and there are some extraordinary things. Kane and Breen does the most amazing thing in the third act, so everyone stay for the third act.